to the Master's Confrontation. I'm so happy that you joined me today, and I just want to start off this episode by telling my family and friends, thank you for being so supportive. Thank you for the ideas that we discussed, the inspiration that you gave me. For my mom, who always told me to try something in the radio industry. Some people have to create different opportunities for themselves in unique ways. So thank you for all of the inspiration, and also I want to say to the people who have given feedback to me so far. I wanna call your names. Thank you to Donnie. Thank you to Keisha. Thank you to Stephanie. Thank you to all of the folks. I can't remember all of your names, so if I don't remember it this time, I will call it next time. Thank you so much for your feedback, because sometimes we set out to do things, or we do something. Not everybody tells us, good job, and some people wait until we get all the feedback, the positive feedback, to then chime in and say, hey, oh, you're doing a good job, but it matters sometimes when we're starting the journey to get that encouraging word. We have people standing around with water bottles, cheering us on and thanking us for taking a step of courage. And doing something that, we didn't get people to approve of. We just dove into it. So thank you for the positive feedback that I've gotten so far from CC. Thank you so much, CC, for hitting up the YouTube channel and leaving your comments. Yes, I've been doing this for 2 decades. Thanks for telling everybody my age. I've been engaging on a creative level, on the creative platform, since I was talking to somebody since I was 8 years old. I was talking to somebody on the weekend, letting them know what my journey looked like, as an 8-year-old, looking around and not seeing the available platforms for young people to perform. I didn't see them, so much. So I started a youth choir at such a young age. Maybe, right after being 8, maybe around 12, I started a youth choir to give the people my age an opportunity to show what they have, right? Like, we can't just be sitting around waiting for things to happen. We must be involved, we must be engaged, we must be occupied. So yes, the topic for the day, I want to share the topic for the day, and I want to talk about it from a 360 angle. I want to talk about confronting mental health. And I want to tell it, I heard somebody hit me up on my YouTube channel and they said, thank you for the storytelling. And I want to tell it in a story type way, because, life, when we look at the sequence of things that happen, that contribute to, people's mental health declining. For most people, it's a sequence of events surrounding, maybe the first episode, the first breakdown, the first time, a person decides, hey, I'm gonna take a little more drugs than I did last time. What drove them to that point? And sometimes we don't know what caused a person to decide, what, I am just going to sit on the sidelines and try to regain my sense of mental stability before I participate in life anymore. So I want to talk about I want to talk about confronting mental health. And I want to share something that happened last year, June 27th, because it's almost going to be a year now. It's almost going to be a year. In fact, I think it is a year. My brother died June 27th of last year. I think today might actually be June 27th. And I want to share the surrounding events that really challenged me and contributed to me having to take more time out to think about what really was important to me. What is important, right? These are what, the things, the occurrences in my life caused me to do. I want to talk about that in a way where you can understand a little bit about him and why I decided to connect confronting mental health with the death of my brother and him as a person who, lived, a character, a middle-aged black man from the Caribbean. So my brother suffered from schizophrenia. He was going through events around him where he had a separation from his significant other during that time, and other things in terms of employment were shaky because he was working for a place that didn't want to pay him his money. The sequence of events occurring and having a family that was going through the process of seeing how a person that is more quiet, that doesn't talk about everything he feels, seeing how he moved through these experiences and watching him emotionally shut down, right? When you say, you know what, I stopped talking, I'm not going to talk about it anymore, I'm not going to confront so and so, you know what, I'm going to move on and I'm going to forgive and forget, and see those things take a toll on his life. And here's the thing, I have nothing against forgiveness. I have nothing against forgiveness. I will forgive you. I will forgive you quickly. I will even pray for you after I forgive you. But I'm waiting for my apologies. I am waiting for them. I am advocating for the opportunity, or if not an apology, to sit down and talk to some of these people who impacted my life in a way where it could have caused my mental wellness to decline, right? But as people from the African diaspora, we don't see how what we do to each other impacts our mental wellness, right? Here he is, in our lives. We are seeing him, we're telling him, we're encouraging him, hey, talk to the counselor. Yes, you're taking medication for your mental struggle, your diagnosis of schizophrenia. You're taking medication for it because you have to take medication. This is what the doctor diagnosed, and you're not doing it in a homeopathic way, because you're not saying, hey, I'm going to eat this, that, this and that, so that my brain can function in a certain way, which will then help to support my mental wellness. You haven't decided to take that route, and some people have, and kudos to you if it's working. Kudos to you, right? So he had gotten on medication, he was taking medication, and he wasn't going to counseling. He wouldn't talk about anything that happened to him. He wouldn't talk about the hardships that he went through. He wouldn't talk about how people hurt him. He wouldn't talk about how he was bullied. He was bullied in school, right? He wouldn't talk about anything, right? Because the theory of people who look like me is, what do we say? Pray, forgive, move on, and let go. Pray, forgive, move on, and let go, right? But for the people who've been praying, forgiving, and trying to move on and let go, and it hasn't been happening, what then? Right? So this particular show, Confronting Mental Health, this is what I hope to do. And the frustrating part about confrontation is I can come to you as many times as possible and I can say, hey, so and so, you remember when you did this to me, when this situation transpired, remember when this happened? Hey, let's talk about it. I need to understand more about why this happened while I was around you within this circumstance. I could confront situations 10 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, and it's up to the individual, right, to talk about the situation with me. But if they are being dismissive, and every time I say, hey, what really happened? What really went on? And it's continually dismissive. As soon as the person who confronts situations, they want to see them in a negative mind frame. You want to take a negative perspective about me because I decided, right, to call these things out. But at the end of the day, when my mental health declines and I'm walking on the streets, right? I'm walking on the streets, I'm wandering around, right? Nobody cares then, right? So this is the problem that I have. And I want to also mention some surrounding events that happened to me from people in the community, from people who I worked with, I did free things for, right? Like at the end of the day, the person who you help might not always help you back. But at least don't stab me in the back, right? Don't do that and expect me to be quiet. Oh, come on. I did an entire video for Gail to promote her business that is actually thriving right now. Congratulations. The hard work paid off. But here's the problem. Here is the problem that I have with what you did to me, right? When somebody comes by your house, records an entire video, comes to one of your events, takes photographs for you at one of your events, and the event that I threw that you were supposed to show up to and offer your services at, rather than coming inside, as we discussed the fairness would be, you went outside to provide services for people who didn't for random people, which is fine that you wanted to provide services for random people, but after having discussed with you on numerous occasions what the plans were, at the last minute, you decided you wanted to not perform the task which we had discussed a long time ago. Oh, come on. This is bad behavior. This is behavior. This is anti-black behavior. You see me, you know me, you had me at your house, I ate at your table, right? And we can't keep our word to each other. You message me and tell me you want me to work with you again, and I tell you, first things first, let's deal with the past. Let's deal with the past. Let's deal with the fact that you were supposed to show up for me at my event, right? And it was okay, you start saying how much money you need and how much money you need towards this and that. And I never pulled back when you told me you needed money in order to buy certain products. I never pulled back, even though I had provided you many services for free. Many services, right? I never pulled back when you told me to pay you, and you still showed up and you worked outside instead of at the actual event. This is shameful. This is bad. This is bad that this is how we treat our brothers and sisters, Caribbean folk. This is how we go. Because some people go through things and it loops. It loops in their mind. How could mom do that to me? How could dad do that to me? How could friend do that to me? How could brother do that to me? How could sister do that to me? And that looping and that looping and that looping, what do you think eventually happens? When a person is stuck on loop and can't move on and can't get any type of engagement to bring any resolve, right? So yes, Gail, I'd like to say I'm very disappointed in your behavior. And I'm looking forward to an opportunity where we can sit, we can talk, and we can resolve this issue. And hopefully you can apologize and see my time. See my time as more valuable. And that's the problem. That's the problem with black folk, right? When a black person walks into our space and they say, hey, I have 13 years experience in agriculture, 10 years experience in this and that and all that stuff. We are not looking to see what their time is worth, right? When everything in this world around us, it teaches us people's net worth. How much is so-and-so worth? How much is Bill Gates worth? How much is this person worth? Well, when is the black person? When is the person from the African diaspora going to value the worth of each other? When we're gonna sit down and we're gonna be thinking, hey, this person have a master's degree, this person of this, that, and they're sitting with me and they're doing a service, and maybe they didn't come down and tell us how much it's worth. They didn't write it down like what organizations do. Some organizations, services organizations will send you a bill quickly. I will tell you events surrounding the day my brother died. So I was at home getting ready to go to work. I was getting ready to go work with this woman named Nicole Pina at an event at Lona for artists. And my sister called me right before I walked out the house. I was dressed, and my sister had called me to told me that my brother was just murdered. And of course, I couldn't take any time to delay the level of sadness I felt. I didn't take any time. I was crying from the very beginning. I was in my apartment. I was going in. I was mourning. Because I remember who he was, right? I remember his goodness. And when I remembered his goodness, I cried and I screamed because, he was my big brother. So anyway, my sister called me, and right after she called me, I had to still go to work. I was a part of an event, and the major part of the event was that I was responsible for was the production of the event. So as the project manager of the event, I went to the event, and the event was very beautiful. It was a great event. And after the event, I told Nicole, I said, here is my idea for us to continue to have these events. A good idea would be for us to eliminate the cost of the venue so that we can have money. You will be able to save money in other areas. You stole the entire idea. I talked to you about the idea. You stole the entire idea. Let's talk about it. Let's see what that means. Let's see. Now we talk about the things that contribute to mental health decline. When somebody in your community, right, they don't see anything wrong with acting this way. Somebody in your community takes your idea, right, doesn't discuss it with you that, hey, I plan to do this, this is what I did, right? And I want you to be involved. Why do we handle each other in this manner? Why? What are we getting from it? Why do this to your black brother, your family? Why do this to anybody? Right? Please think about how you're dealing with people and how it contributes to their mental health decline. Whenever we stab, whenever we do these little sneaky behaviors to each other, this is what contributes to the mental health decline. And I wanna most of all talk about I want to talk about this guy, individual of European descent. I want to talk about him because these are the people that have been taking advantage of the world for years and years and years. And they continue to take advantage of the world. And here's what the black person does. Rather than seeing it in a way where we can call off the right and call off the wrong, let me tell you what the black person who I've been working with did to me when this man didn't pay me for a service that I provide for him. Jason Babek, you owe me almost $2,000, and you know what? I have to go to a small claims court in order to sort you out. But it would be more fulfilling to me to let people know your behaviors. In fact, I'll give the audience a little background on what happened. So anyways, Jason Barber, I did some work for him, some grant writing work for him, and I told him, okay, you come to me the last minute, whatever, so, no big deal. I told him it'll be $40 an hour in order for me to apply for, it was two grants, in order for me to apply for them in a short period of time, right? So I work hours at a time. The grant must have been done like in 3-4 days. Some of these grants you need to be preparing in months ahead of time, at least 3 months, because you need to have all of the information and things that they ask for. You have to have them nearby, and if you don't have them nearby, you gotta go look for them, right? So Jason and I, we were corresponding almost for 3-4 days, like non-stop, because the deadline was approaching, right? And I did all of the work, and when it came into submitting the last grant, there was some difficulty with Bell Canada. How they deal with people is really awful, right? The group that is responsible for giving funding to the filmmakers, right? Jason decided, right, because I had gotten into an interaction with Bell, I was telling them, hey, how many times I gotta give you all my name and y'all gotta call me something else? Like, you do know my name is this, right? And when I told the white woman what my name was, she got upset and felt like, who could I be correcting her? She'll call me what she wants. This is the attitude she's giving me. She didn't say this. She's giving me the attitude like she'll call me what she wants to call me. And I'm not that type of person. I don't accept this type of behavior from anyone, right? So rather than Jason and Nicolette Williams, like, this person is a character. And here is why this person is a character, because the love that I share for people that I work with and for other artists in the community, the love that I share is big. But when it comes to respecting someone's work, that's a whole nother level, right? That's something that calls for a little switching of the mind, right? We're artists, we're having fun, we're enjoying ourselves. We're working, you pay me for what I do. So anyways, Nicolette, who I was on the phone with Nicolette and Jason, and I had agreed that I would work $40 an hour. Nicolette had brought me this client. And when Nicolette saw things going wrong, rather than Nicolette defend me and call out the fact that Jason didn't want to pay me, you know what Nicolette told me? You all want to know what Nicolette told me? she would have never agreed to pay me $40 an hour. On average, a grant writing is $40 an hour. People with all types of different skin representation, they will support each other. Not us. Not black folk.
Who gets to choose who's worth fighting for? You never choose me. You judge me by my face. No one pled my case. They found